There's another thing that didn't work for me that might work for you. So I had an outlet and it had a timer on it. Okay, so the timer on the outlet, and so I could plug something in and it would go off depending on the time. It would be based on the day and like my sleep schedule. And that connected to a fan, and that fan was in a thing of water. Not completely, right? I don't want to, have a danger there. But the fan would turn on as soon as like the timer got set off, which was 6 a.m. or whatever it was. So that would spray me with water. The only problem I had, which maybe you can solve it, it just takes more ingenuity, is it would splash all the things around it and wouldn't just go in one direction, even though that was my goal. And it didn't get more than like a foot away. So again, it didn't really help too much. So that's something you can try. But anyways, there's some cool alarms that do work that I used. Let me find them. Oh my gosh, I don't know where I put it. Okay, well I will have links for it, and I will just tell you what they do. So there are two alarms, one of which is a scanner. I think it's called Bar Scanner Alarm, something like that. It's a free app. If not $1. Oh, that's just to get rid of ads. And so what you do is you go and you scan something in your house, right? And the alarm will go off until you scan that item. So that means if you have a basement, you can scan something down there and the alarm will go off until you go down and scan that. And that's a really great way to wake up. Love it. Great idea. There is some downsides, and the downside is if you put your phone on vibrate, it cuts off the alarm. And eventually I started doing that, and that was the problem with it. There's also this one alarm that you have to shake. I think it's called the Motion Alarm. It's a green app, if I believe, and the barcode one is a blue and white app, just like the icon. And the shake one is like you have to shake it for a set amount of time in order to wake up. That was fun. I like that. That one worked well. Oh, there's this alarm that I have called the Sonic Boom, and that was the best one that I found out there online, which has this disc that's about this big, okay, this big, and the disc has a shaker in it. And you would think that a disc being this small wouldn't do much, and it's run off of a 9-volt battery, but you would be surprised. You put that under your bed, so between your bottom layer and then the top layer, you put it underneath, you close it, or I guess put your bed down, and it shakes the entire bed, so it really wakes you up. But in a way, it's kind of like a massage in the morning, so that part's a little bit of a negative, but it's loud and obnoxious. So if you have any other people, you are like people where you live, then you're basically being held accountable to shut that alarm off as fast as you can, because you don't want to wake them up or piss them off. And then the Sonic Boom, it got its name for Sonic Boom because it's very loud. It's probably the loudest alarm I had. That worked. I still use it sometimes. For the most part, I've just been using my phone alarm and sleeping on the floor. So that's what I do now. When I was polyphasic sleeping, so if you don't know what polyphasic sleeping is, poly is many, phasic is phases. And so I would sleep in many phases in an attempt to sleep like 2 to 4.5 hours a day. It worked for a little while. I did the 4.5 hours a day for about a month straight. But the only problem was I adapted to become an insomniac, so I stopped. But that's a whole nother story. So I had to use like some major tips to wake up because I'd fall asleep between midnight and 3:30 in the morning. And so waking up at 3:30 after 3.5 hours of sleep while you were getting almost no sleep to begin with was very difficult. Now, yes, you would take naps throughout the day. You can, go look up what is polyphasic sleeping on your own. But to wake me up, I had football socks. And so I would put, these football socks all the way up. Oops. Oh yeah, sorry for the chem background. I just did a chem video. But I would put these football socks on, and I would put my phone at the bottom of it, and it would be on vibrate. And so that actually worked really well to wake me up because I'd have to take off my entire sock to go and turn it off. You can do it and put it in both legs. That would be a cool idea. Let's see. So those are the major things. There was one night that I woke up, and this is when I was on like no sleep, right? But I woke up without me remembering this, and I ripped the sock off and I threw it across the room with my phone in it. And I don't know if I think the alarm turned off, and I found out in the morning. So that was kind of interesting because I was like, why didn't I wake up? It's been like I had slept in like 3 hours more than I was supposed to, and I found out that it was all the way across the room. So I must have woken up subconsciously or something taking it off, throwing it across the room, and it was done. Anyways, now I'm just going to spend like another minute telling you about some alarm ideas that I have that I think would be freaking great, that I know don't exist, and if you make it, I will gladly buy it from you. So one is, so that shock alarm, giving you a brilliant idea here. So Pavlov, the Pavlov system, they have a great app, very hard to compete with them. The market interest is ridiculous. They got funded on Kickstarter like in a matter of, I don't know, days of whatever their goal was. It was absolutely phenomenal. But their product dropped short. So if you, and it's very expensive, so if you can make something that actually is just like an analog timer watch and it shocks you, which is relatively simple to make, I actually cost estimated it at a couple thousand, then you could actually get one out, probably like $40 for this watch, and it'll shock you in the morning, and you can have people wear as many as they want because $40 is relatively cheap. The only problem is I didn't want to deal with the whole hassle of like health risks, right? Because you know you're shocking people. I don't know how Pavlov does it, but if this is a brilliant idea, if you go for it, and if you do, mention me. The other idea I have is for that shock alarm system. It'd be nice if it was on the hands and the legs, but it only shuts off. So it only shuts off if you get to a certain place in your house. Like that scanner barcode idea, perfect. The only problem is you can turn it on vibrate and stop it. The Pavlov thing is great. Eventually I started actually just taking the wristband off because it was shocking the hell out of me, and I wasn't like conscious enough to know what's going on. I just knew I was getting shocked on the wrist, you know. And by the way, it's got multiple settings, so you don't have to worry about like being in a super ton of pain. It's just like a good way to wake up. So if you can have something that only shuts off when you get to a certain place in your house or when you move a certain amount of feet, that would be great. I don't know how to do that. What are some other ones? A bed that could like fold in on itself when the time comes up, because if you have nowhere to sleep, then you're not going to sleep, right? That's great. Inflicting pain is a major one, which would really help. But maybe we just get used to it. I don't really know. Let's see what else. Sunlight's always a good thing. Oh, there is one more that I didn't even tell you about. So that timer, I still use this sometimes. It actually works freaking great. Okay, so you can use that timer in the wall. Okay, so you plug it in and it's got its timer, and it is hooked up to a light. And that light is beamed on your face, but it's not on while you fall asleep. But when you wake up, or whenever that timer goes off, then it shuts off. It turns on and beams light in your face. And actually, that one worked really, really well. I should have said that at the front of the video, but whatever, it is what it is. You know, do what you will. I guess anyone listening this long deserves to get the best one for last. All right, and that's about all I got. So have a great day, and I'm Kevin with Time Knowledge Power. And I'll bring you some more tips another time. Bye.